Hey guys, welcome to City Topical. Nate here, and these are 5 characters that I think would be pretty good Jedi. When I made this list, I decided that I was going to focus more on personality and like ideology and like ways of that these characters seem to think over like physical ability or things like that, because there are Jedi who are not so good at combat, and also my thought process was if we're going to make these characters Jedi, then they would have been raised Jedi and would be inherently good at that part. So I wanted to pick people that I thought had like the brain of a Jedi, or like the personality, thought process, etc. So in my number 5, I debated on whether or not I was going to put this one on the list because there are definitely aspects that would make me think not so much. But then I was like, well, if he was part of the Jedi Order, I could see it working out. So at number 5, I have Fletcher from Whiplash, which is J. Jonah Jameson's character. And the reason I picked him is because this man has dedication. He has... he does have passion. I don't know if passion's the word I want to use, just because Jedi say they're not, they avoid passion and things like that. But, yeah, like the dedication this man has, that his focus, his willpower, his intent, his devotion to what he thinks is the right way. I think that if he took those aspects, focused them on being a Jedi, he'd be a hard ass. Probably not a lot of other Jedi would really like him, but if you gave him a task, gave him a mission, I think he could get the job done. And something else that is also true about the Jedi that I learn the more I get older, the more I watch stuff, is that the Jedi are really arrogant. Like, they're not necessarily always right or the good guys. Which, when you're a kid and you grow up Star Wars, that's how you always think about them. But it's not necessarily true. And so because of that, I think Fletcher's arrogance, his incredible devotion would actually make him a pretty good Jedi. He'd fit in. Number 4, I picked Rey from mid-90s. Kind of similar. Definitely a lot nicer guy. But the reason I picked him is that like the wisdom element. And that is one of the hallmark traits of a Jedi is wisdom, right? And not just in terms of like worldly wisdom, but being able to like see into others, kind of figure out what's going on in people's heads, decipher a situation without having to really ask a ton of questions about it, to see the world from this sort of calm, more understanding vision. And especially when compared to those around him, I think that fits Rey's character really, really well. He offers really good advice to little homie. But more so, what does it for me is the conversations that he has. What's the long haired guy's name?
Fuck shit.
Fuck shit. Obviously, I always want to say shit fuck. But when he's talking about the decisions that fuck shit is going through, how he's choosing to live his life, how they could go down the same path, but fuck shit refuses to calm down. He refuses to see the big picture. A lot of what Rey says in that conversation just kind of screams Jedi to me, so I picked him. Number 3, I have Sheriff Ed Bell from No Country for Old Men. A lot of similar qualities. He doesn't get too wrapped up in things. He stays calm. He sees the bigger picture. The reason I even put him one spot higher on the list is his commitment to justice. He wants to fight this greater evil that exists in the world, and even towards the end perceives that his battle against that evil may have been in vain the entire time. So not unlike what the Jedi have gone through and went through. So I think he would actually fit in incredibly well in the Jedi Order. In fact, I almost wish that I had made him number 1 now that I'm really thinking about it, because I think that character and what that character stands for really embody at least what the Jedi want to be, right? Number 2, I have Dr. Ian Malcolm from Jurassic Park. He's the guy who's sitting there, your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could. They didn't think if they should. Again, from a wisdom perspective, from being able to see the world from a different point of view, not looking at it the way that everyone else looks at it. Could 100% see this guy like buying into the idea of the Force and being all about, letting the Force guide him and things like that. But probably, unlike most Jedi, but like some, even seeing that the Jedi aren't necessarily that the Force isn't necessarily always on their side. The Force is bigger. The Force is greater. It may not necessarily be what the Jedi think it would be, which would probably make him unpopular amongst the Jedi, but that was a real thing that existed. Some Jedi saw that, thought that way. Their idea of bringing balance to the Force was very different than what the Force actually had in mind, and I think that Jeff Goldblum in general, but specifically Dr. Ian Malcolm's character when he's talking about chaos theory and all that kind of stuff, I think he would have not a very hard time grasping that concept and would be a good addition. And then at number 1, this was pretty easy for me. I think this would probably make a lot of people's lists if they were making, their version of what movie characters would make great Jedi, because this person not only has the mindset to be one, they have the physical capabilities already to probably be a pretty good one, and it's an actor that pretty much the entire Star Wars fan base has been saying for years that they just really want to see in a Star Wars movie. At number 1, I have John Wick. Obviously, battle skills are there, but again, in terms of personality, a man of few words, because sometimes the person who talks the least is the wisest. He understands the world he lives in. He doesn't try to make it something it's not. He's calm. Like, I feel like this guy would be a very meditative Jedi. He would probably not ask to be involved in any sort of combat, but when the principles required it to be so, he would be the baddest motherfucker out there. And I don't really feel like John Wick needs a ton of explanation for why he'd make a good Jedi again, because I think a lot of people probably think that. But let me know what characters, movie, TV, otherwise, whatever, I don't care, down in the comment section below you think would make good Jedi. Scroll back up, hit the like button, and subscribe.